Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, October 14th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap last night's game number 2 of the Wnba Finals, and I'm going to look ahead to NLDS Game 5 between the Giants and the Dodgers, tonight's Thursday night matchup between the Buccaneers and the Eagles, and a few college football games that are on tonight as well. We will look at the latest golf tournament, NBA small forward rankings, news and notes. We'll recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer and my best bet of the day. We will start with the WNBA Finals, game number 2. It was a thriller, and the Mercury came out on top, 91-86 in overtime, as best bet cashes in again, as the series is even at 1 apiece. Brittany Griner, 29 points and 9 boards for Phoenix, and Courtney Vandersloot had 14 dishes for the Mercury. All right, now I'm going to preview and predict tonight's monster Game 5 in the NLDS between the Dodgers and the Giants. The winner gets the Braves. The Giants are home. It's Julio Urias and Logan Webb, 9 o'clock on TBS. The Giants are slight home favorites at -110. The Dodgers are -106, over under 7.5. Overs even money, unders -122. Dodgers -1.5 is +142. Giants +1.5 is -172. I'm going with the Dodgers. When are you ever going to get the best team in baseball as an underdog? And should they be an underdog here? No, I think they should be favorites. If not, worst case scenario, it should be -108 each side. But that said, I'm going to take the Dodgers -106 against the Giants. Alrighty, I'm going to do NHL now. I forgot about NHL when I did the intro. I apologize about that. We'll go over the games from last night, and we will look ahead to the games today. Maple Leafs over the Canadiens 2-1. The Maple Leafs are 1-0. Montreal's 0-1-0. The number 3 started game at 28 saves on 30 shots. Jake Allen. Number 2 started game at 31 saves on 30 shots. Jack Campbell. Number 1 started the game with the go-ahead goal, William Nylander. Capitals over the Rangers 5-1. The Caps are 1-0-0. Rangers 0-1-0. The number 3 started the game with 23 saves on 24 shots, Vitek Vanecek. Number 2 started the game with the goal, Hendrix Lapierre. And the number 1 started the game with 2 goals and 2 assists, Alexander Ovechkin. The Avalanche over the Blackhawks 4-2. The Avs are 1-0-0. Chicago's 0-1-0. The number 3 started the game with a goal and assist, Gabriel Landeskog. Number 2 started the game with 32 saves on 34 shots, Darcy Kemper. And the number 1 started the game with a goal and assist, Bowen Bryan. Oilers over the Canucks 3-2 in a shootout. Oilers are 1-0-0. Vancouver 0-0-1. The number 3 started the game with an assist, Darnell Nurse. Number 2 started the game with the goal, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Number 1 started the game with 2 assists, Connor McDavid. And the Ducks over the Jets 4-1. The Ducks 1-0-0. Winnipeg 0-1-0. The number 3 started the game with 2 assists, Isaac Lundestrom. Number 2 started the game with the goal and assists, Mason McIntosh. And the number 1 starting game at 33 saves on 34 shots, John Gibson. So good for Anaheim getting a nice win on opening night. A bigger slate tonight. 7 o'clock you have the Canadiens and the Sabres from Buffalo. Montreal is -142. Buffalo's +120. Over under 5.5. Overs -122. Unders even money. Montreal -1.5 is +180. Buffalo +1.5 is -220. I'm going to go under 5.5 and even money. The case is that Buffalo doesn't score a lot, neither does Montreal. It's a 2-1 game. You have the Maple Leafs and the Sens. Toronto's -188. Ottawa's +158. Over under 6.5. Overs -104. Unders -118. Toronto -1.5 is +136. Ottawa +1.5 is -164. No Matt Murray. I'm going to go Maple Leafs puck line, -1.5 at +136. Penguins, Panthers, that's a decent game. Florida, -186. Pittsburgh, +156. Over under 6.5. Overs, -105. Unders, -115. Pittsburgh, +1.5 is -164. Florida, -1.5 is +138. I'm going to go with the over. I think this is an over game. My biggest fear is that this is a letdown for Pittsburgh after getting the big win on opening. Stars, Rangers from the Garden. The Rangers are -134. Dallas +114. Over under 6. Overs -106. Unders -114. Dallas +1.5 is -240. Rangers -1.5 is +195. I'm going over at -106. I don't love Dallas's goaltending. I think the Rangers' offense bounces back. Their power play will bounce back. And I think Dallas will score a little bit. It'll be Igor in net. But I'm going to say it's like a 4-3 game. Maybe the Rangers win and bounce back at the 1-1 on the season. Next up is what I think is the game of the night in the Islanders and the Hurricanes. The Canes are -132. The Isles are +112. Over under 5.5. Overs -104. And there's -118. Islanders +1.5 is -245. Carolina -1.5 is +195. I'm going with the Islanders straight up +112. Coyotes, Blue Jackets. What a terrible game to start the season. Oh my God. Columbus is a ridiculous -168. Arizona's +142. Over under 5.5 -110 each way. Columbus +1.5 is -184. Or I'm sorry, that's Arizona. And Columbus -1.5 is +152. I'm going under because I think whoever starts for Columbus in goal will be able to prevent Arizona from scoring that much. 7:30, the Lightning and the Red Wings. Tampa -230. Detroit +190. Over under 6. Overs -102. Unders -120. Lightning -1.5 is +108. Detroit +1.5 is -130. I'm going to go with the Lightning puck line -1.5 at +108. They'll bounce back. NHL Network at 8 o'clock, the Kraken and the Predators. Nashville's -130. The Kraken are +110. Over under 5.5. Overs -118. Unders -104. Seattle +1.5 is -245. Nashville -1.5 is +198. And going under 5.5 at -104. And last but not least, at 10:30, the Golden Knights and the Kings. Kings are +138. Knights are -164. Over under 5.5. Overs -120. Unders -122. Vegas -1.5 is +152. Kings +1.5 is -184. Another under. I think that Robin Leonard will play better. And I think Peterson will be fine too. So I'm going under 5.5 at -102. All right, now I'm going to preview and predict tonight's Thursday night football matchup between the Buccaneers and the Eagles. On Fox, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call with Christina Pink. I project the Buccaneers by 3.75. Doing changes on the fly here is 4.25, but Gronk was ruled out, so I'm going to make a couple changes. And my projected total is 52.8. Meanwhile, FanDuel has this at Buccaneers by 6.5, total 52.5. I don't like the pick, but I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles getting the points. They're home. I think that they'll be fired up to play the Bucs. It's a night home game. They're usually tough out in a primetime home game, especially against a team that is superior to them. I think it's a close game. I think the Buccaneers pull it out. I think it's going to be similar to the New England game in a way, except more high scoring. So, give me the Eagles getting the points. And the second choice, by the second choice on this game, it would be the over. So Eagles and over for Thursday Night Football tonight. Okay, now we move on to college football. We have a few games tonight as well. And the first one, 7:30 ESPN, you have Navy and Memphis. I project Memphis by 13.5, total 60.2. Meanwhile, FanDuel has it at 11.5 and 55.5. So it went up a point since I last checked last night. I have to lay it with Memphis. Memphis has not played well of late, but I think they should be able to beat Navy by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to lay the 11.5 with Memphis. And then on ESPNU, you have Georgia Southern and South Alabama. I project South Alabama by 4.5, total 51.65. Meanwhile, it is South Alabama by 2.5, total 50.5. I'm going to go lay the points with South Alabama against Georgia Southern. It's on the verge of going up to 3 because it's at minus 128. And I think this is a good spot for South Alabama. Under a field goal at home. So, give me South Alabama minus the 2.5 at home against Georgia Southern. All right, now we'll move on to golf. It's been an interesting couple weeks in golf with different golfers emerging in these tournaments. And now up is the CJ Cup. It kicks off in less than an hour from now. I'm going to go through notable tee times. 10:20, Maverick McNeely, Chris Kirk. 10:32, Kevin Strollman, Alex Loren. 10:44, Mackenzie Hughes, Jonathan Vegas, Aaron Weiss. 10:56, Paul Casey, Cam Smith, Harry English. 11:08, Carlos Ortiz. 11:20, Stuart Sink, Mark Leishman, Shane Lowry. 11:32, Webb Simpson, Adam Scott, Sebastian Munoz. 11:44, Abraham Anser, Max Homa. 11:56, Justin Rose, Tony Finau, Kang-Hoo Lee. 12:13, Sanjay M, Colin Morikwa, Hideki Matsuyama. 12:25, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Jason Kokrak. 12:37, Tommy Fleetwood, Scotty Scheffler. 12:49, Emiliano Grillo, Charles Schwartzel. 101, Taylor Hogue, Cam Triangle. 113, Keegan Bradley, Brian Harmon, and Sang-Hong Kim. 125, Kevin Mitchell, Ian Poulter. 137, Joaquin Neiman, Jason Day. 149, Patton Kizzire, Lucas Glover, and Ricky Fowler. 206, Kevin Kisner, Sergio Garcia, and Cam Davis. 218, Evan Van Rooyen, Gary Woodland, and Matt Jones. 230, Kevin Na, Patrick Reed. 242, Tyrell Hatton, Siwoo Kim. 254, Brooks Koepka, Louis Olson, Jordan Spieth. 306, Anders Schauffele, Victor Hovland, Dustin Johnson. 318, Taylor Gooch, Henry Higgs. 330, Ryan Henley, Harold Varner III. And that's it. So, in terms of a pick, I'm going to go to FanDuel and pull up the odds here. And I'm going to go with at 15-1 to win the CJ Cup. Justin Thomas at 15-1. I think he should be up there with DJ for the favorite. And Kyle Marikwa, but I'm going to take the 15-1. With Justin Thomas to win the 2021 CJ Cup. All right, now I'm going to do my NBA small forward rankings. This was an interesting list to put together. Some guys you might expect are higher or lower than you could expect because of how I project them to do this season. And guys that are coming off injuries and whatnot. So, without further ado, my 2021 preseason edition NBA small forward rankings. All right, 88, Ferren Hunt, Mavericks. 87, Ishmael Wainwright, Raptors. 86, Vlatko Konkar, Nuggets. 85, Lamar Stevens, Cavaliers. 84, Delano Banton, Spurs. 83, Eugene Omoruyi, Mavericks. 82, Justin James, Jazz. 81, Herbert Jones, Pelicans. 80, Abdel Nader, Suns. 79, Robert Woodard III, Kings. 78, Kessler Edwards, Nets. 77, Elijah Hughes, Jazz. 76, Aaron Wiggins, Thunder. 75, Sam Hauser, Celtics. 74, KJ Martin, Rockets. 73, Isaiah Livers, Pistons. 72, Zaire Williams, Grizzlies. 71, Aaron Naismith, Celtics. 70, Caleb Martin, Heat. 69, Cody Martin, Hornets. 68, Greg Brown, Trailblazers. 67, Dylan Windler, Cavaliers. 66, PJ Dozier, Nuggets. 65, Solomon Hill, Hawks. 64, Derek Jones Jr., Spurs. 63, Hamidou Diallo, Pistons. 62, Semi Ojeleye, Bucks. 61, KZ Okpala, Heat. 60, Keita Bates-Diop, Spurs. 59, Franz Wagner, Magic. 58, Jake Layman, Timberwolves. 57, Kevin Knox, Knicks. 56, Desmond Bane, Grizzlies. 55, Talen Horton-Tucker, Lakers. 54, Donnell House, Rockets. 53, Justice Winslow, Clippers. 52, Corey Kispert, Wizards. 51, Troy Brown Jr., Spurs. 50, Josh Okogie, Timberwolves. 49, Devin Vassell, Spurs. 48, Sadiq Bey, Pistons. 47, Jonathan Kuminga, Warriors. 46, Isaac Okoro, Cavaliers. 45, Cam Reddish, Hawks. 44, Otto Porter, Warriors. 43, Kent Bazemore, Lakers. 42, Tony Snell, Trailblazers. 41, Mo Harkless, Kings. 40, Rodney Hood, Bucks. 39, Alec Burks, Knicks. 38, Alexej Pokusevich, Thunder. 37, Torrey Craig, Pacers. 36, Bruce Brown, Nets. 35, Kelly Oubre Jr., Hornets. 34, Matisse Thybulle, 76ers. 33, Terrence Mann, Clippers. 32, Jashawn Tate, Rockets. 31, Josh Hart, Pelicans. 30, Justin Holiday, Pacers. 29, Terrence Ross, Magic. 28, Cam Johnson, Suns. 27, Dorian Finney-Smith, Mavs. 26, LeGwent Dort, Thunder. 25, Gary Harris, Magic. 24, Denny Avdija, Wizards. 23, Danny Green, 76ers. 22, Keldon Johnson, Spurs. 21, Dylan Brooks, Grizzlies. 20, Norman Powell, Trailblazers. 19, TJ Warren, Pacers. 18, DeAndre Hunter, Hawks. 17, DeMar DeRozan, Spurs. 16, Evan Fournier, Knicks. 15, Andrew Wiggins, Warriors. 14, Gordon Hayward, Hornets. 13, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jazz. 12, OG Anunoby, Raptors. 11, Mikal Bridges, Suns. 10, Buddy Hield, Kings. 9, Brandon Ingram, Pelicans. 8, Anthony Edwards, Timberwolves. 7, Michael Porter Jr., Nuggets. 6, Chris Middleton, Bucks. 5, Jaylen Brown, Celtics. 4, Jimmy Butler, Heat. 3, Paul George, Clippers. 2, LeBron James, Lakers. And number 1, Kevin Durant, Brooklyn Nets. I think this is the first time in a while where I didn't have LeBron James as my number one small forward or power forward before the season, depending on what position he played. But Durant over LeBron because Durant rebounded from his big injury and looked identical to the guy we saw in his prime with the Thunder and the Warriors. Meanwhile, LeBron has gotten hurt more often and isn't the same defensively anymore as he used to be. Paul George, he really has put together a great all-around game as a player. And I think that it's undersold how great he is. Jimmy Butler really has changed that Heat team a lot since arriving there because they needed a player like him. I think Jaylen is just getting better and better and better. Chris Middleton versus Jaylen Brown was a tough one by way of Jaylen Brown because of the upside, because we know what Chris Middleton is. Michael Porter Jr., I think, will only get better. Anthony Edwards, I think, will make a huge jump. Brandon Ingram is still a really good player, and Buddy Hield is somebody that is just a very solid player for Sacramento. And then Bridges and Wnba are right there with Hield, and then there's those veteran types of guys like Bogdanovic, I meant, and Wiggins and Hayward and Fournier and DeRozan. I put them all in that same sort of tier of players there. All right, now I'm going to do my news and notes for today. Here's some news. The Washington football team will retire Sean Taylor's number 21 on Sunday against the Chiefs. That is really, really sweet. This should have been done a while ago, but they're finally doing it. And it's deserved. And I'm interested to see how this ceremony goes, and his family will probably be there and whatnot. Brandon Staley made some comments about John Gruden's emails. He said he hopes all of us can learn from this. That is about bringing people together. I mean, he's right. I hope people do learn from this. And ultimately, it cost John Gruden his job. Odell Beckham Jr. could be moved in 2022 as his name hasn't popped up on the trade block this season, but signs point to the Browns moving on in 2022. I mean, he's on the trade block right now. He's been on the trade block his whole career pretty much. It's unfortunate because I think injuries derailed him a little bit. I took it to the grave that the Giants should have gotten more for him, which they traded him a year too late. But even the Browns aren't going to get as good as value if they traded him as the Giants did. His value's worse, way worse than it was when the Giants dealt them. So the Browns, if they trade him, they're going to get a worse deal than what the Giants got back in return. Kyrie Irving says on Instagram that he's not retiring, and he says he doesn't believe that he's retiring after speculation he can hang it up after the vaccine mandate. We talked about Matthias Elcom with the 4-year, $6.25 million AAV contract. And now we had one that come down last night with the New York Islanders and Ryan Pulock. 8 years, $46 million. He'll be making $5.75 million a year. I love that contract for Pulock. He's a great player, and he's going to be their number one D-man for a while. Sad news in baseball yesterday. Ray Fosse passes away at the age of 74 of cancer. As the family announces, thoughts and prayers to his family. Former catcher and athletics broadcaster. Very sad. Marcus Mariota returning from the injury reserved. with a quad injury, so that gives the Raiders better backup quarterback depth after Derek Carr got knocked out last week, and he's just better than Nate Peterman, that's all. Brian Flores expects Tua Tagovailoa to be available in London after practicing yesterday, so that's good news. Colts designate T.Y. Hilton to return off the injured reserve after he missed the first 5 games due to the neck injury, so that's good news for the Colts. The Cubs are hiring Cleveland assistant general manager Carter Hawkins to be their next general manager, so I guess he'll be working under Jed Hoyer in that front office. We'll see how this goes. It's a promising hire. Cleveland's made some good moves the past couple of years, and we'll see how Hawkins does. He has a big task on his hands. It's a rebuild. Could Kyle Hendricks be on the move? And Wilson Contreras. So I really think that team is going to continue to get blown up like it did at the trade deadline this past season. The Brooklyn Nets are not extending Kyrie Irving, as they'll no longer be offering Irving a contract extension moving forward. So that's a ballsy move by the Nets. They're trying to force him out of there because he's not vaccinated. So we'll see how this plays out. Does he get vaccinated, or do they trade him somewhere so he can play in a state where the vaccine mandate is non-existent, like Texas or Florida or whatnot? Maybe they send him to the Spurs for DeJounte Murray and a couple contracts like the Ringers' Bill Simmons suggested. Or the Mavericks for... It'd be funny if they traded him to Dallas for Kristaps Porzingis, straight up. But there has to be like a pick swap or something in there, because I think that trade would be unfair for either side. The Ben Simmons stuff we talked about the other day. There was a meeting on Monday. I don't know if it was Monday, but he met with Daryl Morey, which is good. And the trade talks could grow in December, which is when trade talks really start happening within teams. Joe Judge says that Daniel Jones is on track to play Sunday against the Rams after that concussion. I said on Monday's show that I thought there's a chance that Daniel Jones would play against the Rams, because Teddy Bridgewater played 1 week after getting concussed as well, and the Broncos ended up losing the game, although they did make that respectable comeback during the game. But if I'm the Giants, I don't know if I'd play Jones or Barkley in this game. But Jones gives them the best chance to win rather than Mike Glennon. But if they were to sit Jones in this game, then people look at them like, oh, they're tanking. But I don't think they are tanking, the Giants. And Saquon, I don't think he'll be back for another couple weeks. I would not play Saquon here. But Jones, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater and the Broncos looked awful in that first half against Pittsburgh, and they rallied back. And Pittsburgh's not as good as the Rams. And the Broncos' defense is much better than the Giants' defense. So we'll see how that goes. But, if Jones plays, then my projections will certainly change for this game. And last one, the NHL partners with DraftKings as the betting site becomes the league's official sports betting partner an exclusive sportsbook for the NHL on TNT, as we saw during the broadcast last night. Masked Singer from last night. It was a good episode. Group B was back. The theme of the show was date night, and I like that the Masked Singer is doing different themes to their shows. First up was Banana Split. There was a house, there's a cookbook, a fantasy jar, the world, an emergency case. There's a plate with nothing on it, meaning there's a plate, a plate, and it said on it in black ink, nothing. And they performed Cry Me a River by Michael Bublé, and it was phenomenal. And the theme was that the panel asked questions about, like, dates and whatnot. And Banana Split said that they haven't kissed each other on a date, but they both kissed someone on a date. They like big parties, like lakes. And then Banana talked about going to Costco with Ken. And then Split said she has a ball with Nicole, meaning that she has a good time with Nicole. Ken Jeong said Craig Robinson and Ashley Tisdale as his guests. Jenny's guests, Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes. Nicole went with Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban. Cupcake. There's a dress, there's a needle and thread. She said she loves Bruno Mars, and then she sang a Bruno Mars song, Finesse. The app she uses most, Whole Foods. She sometimes believes in love at first sight. She advises people to date, not marry. And she says double trouble with Nick. In terms of the panel guesses, Jenny said Grace Jones, Ken said Tina Turner, Nicole said Tina Knowles. Queen of Hearts talks about being shy. There's pink flowers. She was single. She performed La Vie en Rose by Edith Piaf. And in the speed dating questions, she said she never dated an ex. Would never get back with an ex. She likes to read, write, and ride motorcycles. She likes hiking. And her clue to Ken was something about a roasting hot first date. Ken Jeong said Ira Baldwin. Robin Thicke said Ashley Judd. Nicole Scherzinger said Lady Gaga and Miley Cyrus. But I don't think this would be Lady Gaga because she sang La Vie en Rose in A Star is Born, and you can't sing your own song. And that song's on the soundtrack of the movie, so she sings that song. The Mallard said he met his wife in the 4th grade. That's sweet. And then there's a hint about sweet tea. So that would mean that maybe from the South. And there's a beach in there too. And Mallard performed My House by Flo Rida. It was pretty good. This is the contestant that I have no clue who this could be. The speed dating round with the panelists. His first celebrity crush was Olivia Newton-John. He likes the lights on. He said he has dimples. And says he's very hairy. And his clues with Jenny, same wavelength. Maybe there's a Donnie tie in there or something. Robin Thicke said Freddie Prinze Jr. and Mario Lopez. Ken Jung said Nick Offerman. And Jenny went with John Bon Jovi, which is an awful guess. And then the wild card of the night, the Caterpillar. There's a TV. Talk about being lonely growing up. Left home at a young age. Talk about being homeless. There's a city. Basketball. There's jail. And this person performed If I Were a Boy by Beyonce. Caterpillar said they ghosted someone on a date. He likes to text rather than talk on the phone. And he said he's been cheated on. And his closest connection was to Robin. He said he can't take his eyes off his shirt. They all threw out Band Boys. Robin said Howie D. Jenny said AJ McLean. And Ken Jung said Aaron Carter. And who went home? The Cupcake. My first impression guess was Darlene Love. Because I was getting vibes of her version of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. And my final guess, Gloria Gaynor. Because I was getting like I Will Survive kind of vibes. Ken Jung's first impression was Angela Bassett. His final, Tina Turner. Nicole's first impression, Roberta Flack. Her final, Ruth Pointer. Robin's first impression, RuPaul. His final, Leslie Jones. Jenny's first impression, RuPaul. Her final, Grace Jones. And who was it? Ruth Pointer. So Nicole's right. She deserves a point. They should do first impression guess points and then final guess points. But I think the final guess points is what really should count. So Ken's Dwight Howard should count. So Nicole's on the board for the season in terms of a final guess. So her and Ken each have one. It's amazing that Ken had one before the three of them this year. Ken's gotten better and better at this. And he got the first correct on the Masked Dancer last year too. So that was pretty cool as well. Okay, last but not least, my best bet of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. I have some options here. I have college football, I have baseball, I have hockey, and I have the W. I'm going to go in hockey, actually. And I'm going to go with... This is a tough one. A tougher one than I thought. In terms of where I want to go. Exactly. I'm going to go under 5.5 in Buffalo, Montreal. I'm only going to lay a unit on it. It's even money. I just think that's a low-scoring game. So under 5.5 even money between the Canadians and the Sabres. So that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow. Big show tomorrow. The picks for college football and in the NFL for the weekend. We'll recap NHL and Major League Baseball playoffs. Look ahead to the weekend. I'll give out my LCS pick on the show tomorrow. And my NLCS pick as well. Wnba Finals Game 3. We'll preview and pick that. Golf, NASCAR, news and notes, and my best bet as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.